And now we'll be looking on question 12 of paper 2 of the differentiation topic. So as you can see here from diagram 1 that this question showed that there was a window formed from a rectangle with the width of 2x and a height of a semicircle with on top of it, and the perimeter was given as 80 cm. So the question asked us to show the area was equals to this one. But in this case, we could see that there's actually no A. So which means that we need to express A in terms of x or pi. So we could start off by finding the area for the semicircle first, maybe. And 1/2 r square delta, so it's 1/2 x square 180 times pi over 180 and equals to pi over 2 x squared. And for the perimeter is 80 equals to 2a plus 2x plus r dot dot, so which is 2a plus 2x plus x pi. And so now we can start to express it. So L is equal to the rectangle and add it with the semicircle. For the rectangle part is 2x multiplied with a, and for the semicircle part is 1/2. We just copy it from which is pi over 2 x squared. And as you can see here, we could also express a in terms of x or pi. So now we could change, we should express here as a equals to something, and now which is 80 minus 2x minus x pi over 2, and this is 8, so we could put it and further simplify it. It will be 40 minus x over 2 pi. And later then this can be substituted into here. So it's 2x 40 minus x over 2 pi plus pi over 2 x squared. And we could simplify this further. Dx minus 2x squared minus 2x squared over 2 pi plus pi over 2 x squared. And here we could just cancel out, and then what we left with is 80x minus 2x squared, and this one is minus x squared plus half x squared. So it will actually become minus pi over 2 x squared. And this can be further simplified by taking 2x out, as it was a common factor. So what we're going to left is something that like this. So we already managed to show it, so we could write the word shown beside it. And now we're starting off with question 12b. So the question say is find value of x such that the area of the window is maximum. Now earlier before at question A, there's a value declared that the equation of L is actually equals to L 2x and that L2x bracket 40 minus x minus pi x over 4. And there's a thing to note here that if you can't prove the above of question A, you could always just use what the question gave you, so that even if you didn't know how to prove, you can still get marks in your exam. So now we'll continue, and so now we say find the maximum. So the first thing first is, as always, differentiate, and later then substitute the value inside. So now we have dl over dx. I'm going to differentiate this one. So we could use product rule in this case, which is uv plus vu, and u is here is u, here is v. Differentiation of v is negative 1 negative pi over 4 plus, and then what we have here is the v, and differentiation of u, which is 2. And later then we multiply it and simplify it. Eventually we will get something like 4x minus pi x plus 80. And after that, and this is our final answer. So in order to get the value, we must, as always, differentiation is equal to 0. So you will find the value needed for x. And so this is 0 and negative 4x. 0 equals to negative 4x minus pi x plus 80. And we're simplifying this one. By factorizing x out, and eventually what we will get, the answer is actually 11.202. cm. And this is the maximum value. After that, we could sub it into the equation and say if x, or when x equals to 11.2.2 cm, and we sub it to the equation where L is equal to 2 and 11.2.2. We need to sub it into original equation, and later 40 minus 11, 2.2, and minus pi over 4, 11.202. And what we will get here, the final answer is actually something that is 48.9 cm cubed. And this is your final answer. So the maximum area is 448.1 cm square, and maximum value of x is equals to 11.202. Now we will be continue with question C. As question C, this type of question usually involve rate, and here we usually use chain rule. And this kind of question is actually quite easy, where you only need to follow the formula and eventually you will get the answer. So first of all, the first step first is always set the formula and analyze the question. So the rate of radius is x, is actually 0.5, which means that dx over dt is actually equals to 0.5. And here the radius of the rate, we need to find the rate of change of area. So we need to find dl over dt, and here they give us is the radius is actually equals to 10 cm. And now we can begin to set our equation, which is dl over dt, and follow the chain rule, equals to dx over dt multiplied with dl over dx. As the question before, dl over dx is related with the question before, so this kind of question are actually related. If you are correct and follow all the steps before, it will be an easier task for you to get all correct in this kind of question. So what we have here is negative for x negative pi x plus 80, and x is equals to 10. So we need to substitute this, and what we will eventually get is a value of 8.584. So dx over dt is 0.5. We multiply with 8.584, and what we get here is 4.292, and we need cm square. We need to remember to write the unit as well, per second, or second minus 1, and this is the final answer. Now we'll continue with question 13. Question 13 is quite similar to the previous question 12 before. So here it say that it have 150 cm piece of wire to bend to form a shape. So which means that perimeter is equals to 150 cm. And then we need to show them that area is actually equals to L, this equation here. And also we need to find the maximum area. So for the area, we could see that there is no y, so which means that we need to express y in terms of x. And for this shape, we could divide it into two. One is to a triangle and a rectangle. So triangle, this is 10x, and the half is 6x. And using Pythagorean theorem, we will get here 8, as Pythagorean state that 3, 4, 5 is one of the rule of Pythagorean. So 4 multiplied by 2 is equals to 8. And now we'll be showing, now I was starting off with question 1. Question 1 is actually, if we need to start off, we start off with the perimeter first, which is 150 equals to 12x plus 2y plus 10x plus 10x, and 150 equals to 32x plus 2y. And then we'll be simplify it into y equals to 150 minus 32 divided by 2, and y, final answer for y is 75 minus 16x. And this, after that, after evaluating, we could start off for our area. So L, which is the triangle plus the rectangle of the area, and the triangle is 1 over 2 8x with 12x. And the answer that you will get is 48x squared. And for this one here is 12x multiplied by y. So it's actually 12x with 75 minus 16x and 48x squared plus 900x subtract 192x squared, and you will be further simplify it into something that is 900x squared minus 900x minus 144x squared, and this is shown. And moving on to part 2 of the question, which indicate us to show us the maximum area of the figure. So when dealing with this kind of question, there are always 3 steps that we need to know. The first thing first is differentiate the equation that they give you, and then the differentiated equation, we need to equal it to 0. After that, we need to substitute the value that we get from the original equation, that we get from the differentiation to the original equation, and then you will get your answer. It was easy, right? So continue is dl over dx equals to 900 minus 288x, and 900 minus 288x equals to 0, means that 288x equals to negative 900, and we need to divide the both, and what we will get is x equals to 3.125, and substitute this value into the original equation. So L is equals to 900x divided by 144x squared, and substituting it, we will get by multiplying 900 with 3.125 and divide it with 144 multiply with 3.125 square, the answer we will get is 1406.25 cm square. And this is the final answer, so always keep in mind of you this step when dealing with this kind of question, and it would be quite easy for you to score all right in this kind of question. Now we continue with question 13b. Question 13b, the first thing that he tells us to do is find the value of dy dx at the point of 1 over 2 and 1 over 5. Later then we need to find the approximate change in x when y increases from 5.25 to 5.28, and also rate of change of y when 1 over 2, the rate of change when the rate of change of x is 0.8. And now I want to take note is this question here. This question here is a little bit tricky, so take note of that. And now we will begin with differentiation. So dy dx is equals to 12x squared minus 2x when x is equals to 1 over 2 and 12 1 over 2 square minus 2 1 over 2, and what we will get is 3 minus 1 equals to 2. And for question 1, when y increases from 5.25 to 5.38, which means that it increased actually 0.03. And dealing with approximate change, you need to be aware whether at value is increased or decreased, as decrease is you need to put a negative sign on it, but whereas increase you just need to put a positive sign in front of it. So this is positive 3.003, and the approximate change in x is, what we can do here is they're actually a formula for approximate change. So the formula of y is change in y is delta y equals to differentiation. Oh, we need us to find change in x. So it's delta x, which should be dx over dy divided by delta y. What is really interesting in this case is that they give us delta y. Delta y is 0.03. However, they didn't give us the dx over dy, as this can be derived, and so in order to solve this, we can derive it from the dy dx that they give earlier by just 1 over dy dx, and eventually you will get dx over dy. And so this is a way that you need to take note on that. And now we just find out what is dx over dy first. So dx over dy is equals to 1 over 12, and here we need to substitute the original value that they give us, which is, and here we need to substitute original value of x, which is 1 over 2, and continue is 1 over 2 square minus 2 1 over 2, and what we will get is 1 over 2. So our dx dy is 1 over 2. So continue, delta change in x is equals to dx over dy multiplied with change in y. So it was actually 1 over 2 multiplied with 0.03, and what you will get here is 0.015, and that is the final answer. And now we move on to question 2. Question 2 told us to find the rate of change of y of instant when x is equal to 1 over 2. So as always, rate of change use the chain rule, and rate of change of y is actually dy over dt, and rate of change of x is dx over dt. So dy over dt equals to dx over dt, and use the chain rule, and dy dx. So dx over dt given there is 0.8. 0.8 multiply with dy dx in the value of 1 over 2, which you have done earlier before. So the final answer is 1.6, and this is the final answer for all of the question. And now we'll be continue with question 14. Question 14, as you can see here, is what we have here. They need us to find the equation of normal of this curve at point P. P is the coordinate P. And before starting, I need all of you to take note that for the gradient of the normal, and for the gradient, which is actually gradient multiplied with with gradient of normal is equals to -1. So in order to find gradient of normal, we need to -1 divide by gradient of the equation in order to find the gradient of the normal. So keep your mind in that. And usually when dealing with this kind of finding gradient in dy dx, there are 3 steps. First thing first is differentiation, and later then sub the value of x into the differentiation, and later then complete the equation of y equals to mx plus c. And this applies to all similar questions to this. And now we can start. So starting off is differentiation of dy dx of 5 over bracket 3x minus 2 squared. And here we could take note that this one is actually a fraction. So this fraction we need to do it with the quotient rule. And quotient rule, which is v u minus by u v divided by v squared. So this thing here that we can do here is, and we could continue dy dx and this is our v, this is our u, and this is our v. So we start off by v 3x minus 2 square, and 5 is an integer which can't be differentiated, so it's equals to 0, and minus u is 5, and the v is 3. For the v, when dealing with this kind of question, we could differentiate it from the outer part towards the inner part. So the outer part is, there's a 2 there, so we pull the 2 into the front, and we just keep writing the same thing. And here, and after that we differentiate the inside bit of it, which is 3. And what we will get, eventually the answer is -5 divided by 2, 3x minus 2 power 3. And so we need to substitute point P into this function. And the step earlier I said that we need to sub x, so we just sub this when x equals to 1. So dy dx, which is our gradient, is -5 by 2 and 3, 1 minus 2 divided by 3, multiplied by 3. So this is, and the final answer is -30. And now is the gradient for the normal, which the formula is gradient of normal minus gradient of normal multiplied with gradient equals to -1. And gradient of normal is actually -1 over m, and this case here is -1 divided by -30, which is 30. And so finally, to construct the final value, which is use the formula y equals to mx plus c and y equals to 30x plus c, and they do share the same point. So we just sub p in here. and what we get here, p is 5, 30, x is 1 plus c, and c is actually negative 25. And y equals to, oh, here is 1 over 30, 1 over 30, and here, I'm so sorry for the mistake. So is 1 over 30, 5 subtract 1 over 30, what we get here is 149, and the final answer is y equals this is the final answer. Thank you. And now we're moving on to the last question. So question here stated that surface area of the cylinder is this radius here, and this is the surface, the area of the cylinder. However, they need us to show the volume of the V. And so volume, the area, and also take note that it was an open cylinder, which means that this part here is actually an empty part. And so there's no need to calculate the area for it. And so A equals to pi r square plus 2 pi rh, and which is actually 27 pi equals to pi r square plus 2 rh, and we just cancel out pi first, and later then is 27 equals to r square plus 2 rh. And also take note that this equation here, we didn't have any h. So in other words, means h is being expressed into terms of r. So need to move, so here need to move all those, we need to make it into h equals to something, and 27 minus r square divided by 2r is equals to h, and this is the value for the h. And now we can start. So to start off, what we need to do is actually determine the formula for volume. Formula for volume of cylinder is pi r square h. So pi, the r square remains the same, but the h is 27 minus r square divided by 2r. And so we could cancel out the r with another r, and we just expand this equation. So, or we just follow what they need, which is pi over r over 2, where we just pull out the 2 from here, and what we left is 27 minus r squared, which is the same. And now we have already shown, as always, write the word shown. And this is question number 1. And the next is question number 2. Question number 2 here is maximum volume, and continue again. There are 3 steps. The volume part is dy dx first. Second part is dy dx equals to 0 to find the value. And third part is sub it to the original equation. So you will find the value that you want. Take note. And this question is quite similar to the previous question 12 and 13. And continue. So need to differentiate dv over dr. And here we're going to use is product rule of uv plus vu. And so dv, and this is our u, this is our u, this is our v. The u here is pi r over 2. V differentiate of v is actually 27 is a number, so it can't be differentiated, so it's negative 2r. And we need to add it up with v, 27 minus r square, and what we left. And now we need to differentiate u, which is actually pi over 2. And now we need to simplify the whole thing, or we just substitute. And now this dv dr equals to 0. So 0 equals to pi r over 2 and negative 2r plus 27 minus r squared pi over 2. And we factorize out pi over 2. Which left is negative 2r plus 27 minus r squared. And here, and after that, we just move this here, 0 multiplied by pi over 2, which is also 0, and negative 2r squared subtract r squared plus 27, which is negative 3r squared plus 27, and 3r squared equals to 27, and r squared is 9. So this makes r is plus minus 3. And to take note that we need to find the maximum value. So it would be rational to say that r is equal to 3. And besides, there is no such thing as negative 3 radius. So this often students make mistake in here. So really you need to take note on that. And so the final answer here is r equals to 3. And then we could sub it to the original equation. The original equation is v v pi r over 2 v pi r over 2 and 27 minus r squared. 27 minus r squared. Just sub the 3 in, which is 3 over 2 pi and 27 minus 3 squared. 27 minus 9, what you get is 18, and 3 over 2 pi here you get is 27 pi. And in this condition, it is okay to leave out the answer as pi so that it will not be so confusing and difficult for teachers to mark or even students. And in most of the cases of this equation, we need to leave out pi for easier counting and checking. And so the final answer is v equals to 27 pi cm2. And this is the final answer from me, and bye.